Hello viewers, thank you for joining this session. So today's session we are going to discuss about how to read test data as a database in our Selenium Java using FIllo APIs dependencies. So let's quickly go into inside this coding part. So what is a FIllo API? So FIllo API is a Maven dependency which is a code ID product here. So the FIllo API will basically supports .xls and .xlsx extension file types of Excel sheet. So what are the three actions this FIllo API can do it here? It can read an Excel sheet using the basic select queries. It can update the Excel sheet using the update queries. And as part of this queries, we can also add the where clause conditions here. So let's quickly look into how to perform all these three actions as part of the FIllo API. This is a FIllo API dependency file used for the Maven repository from the Maven repository. You see our group ID is com.codeid.products, the artifact ID is FIllo, and the version I'm using it here is 1.21 version. Let's go into the coding part, how to do coding using the FIllo class. Let's look into our coding part using the FIllo classes. How to define a FIllo class here. You can say I created a static variable, private static variable for our FIllo class. And to create an instance for this, I have defined this FIllo class and I've created a new instance for this using new FIllo class here. Once we create our FIllo class instance, we need to establish our connection with our Excel sheet, whatever file you want to connect it to. So that data path, the test data Excel sheet path, we need to defining it here. I am defining it here as a string data file path using system resource files, and the file type I'm using is .xls file type. So once we have all this FIllo class defined and the path of the test data sheet, we need to raise a connection, establish a connection to that sheet now. So using the FIllo class, I am raising that FIllo class. .get connection is an inbuilt method for the FIllo. So .get connection, and we need to provide this Excel sheet file path over here. So once we do this, a connection will get established. So what if there is no file exists in that our defined folder? So there is a FIllo exception will be thrown out of here. To handle that, we can use try catch block, the way which I have used it here. So what is our next step once we raise the connection to Excel sheet? The thing is, we need to write a query we need to find out the test case name using the query in our Excel sheet. And once we get the results, we need to store the results in our record sets. For the record set, I have defined a variable with the class record set as record set here. Yeah. So there's one more inbuilt feature which we have it. So once we to retrieve the sheet names within the Excel sheet, we can use with the help of the connection, we can get what all sheets exist in our Excel sheet. So connection.get metadata is such method which will be helpful, and .get table names within the metadata which will retrieve all the Excel worksheets present in our Excel sheet data. So once we get that, we need to start querying it the Excel sheet. For suppose we need to query the sheet 1 in case that we name the sheet 1 as a test login data in case. So we write the query string query in the string format. We will write the query as select star from what is the sheet name we want to use it. We can call the sheet name from our list. So currently I'm calling the first sheet names.get 0th index. So for example, select star from sheet 1 is what it will consider in our SQL query. Now once we are ready with the query, we need to execute this query, select query, and we need to retrieve the data as how many records are being displayed back. So we are using record set. So with the help of connection dot, I am executing the query, SQL query. And suppose if you want to use the where clause conditions, you can put as where the field name column name equal to the column value you are looking for, and it should be in the format of string. So currently in our coding we are fetching this test name condition from our parameter which is declared in this method string test name here. So once we fetch all these records, if there are multiple records, so everything will get stored in our record set. Our job is need to retrieve all the data from our record sets. So record sets will have the get field name, so the count of the field or field values, everything will be stored in our record sets. So to count the columns or how many columns or how many fields are present in our Excel sheet, this is what the method we use. Record set dot get field names dot size. It will fetch you the count of the columns it is present in the worksheet. So once we get the count, the basic thing is until we have this next record in our record set, if there is only one row, the loop will return only one value here. If there are multiple rows, this will go to the multiple loops into. So we use this condition while record set has the next record or the record set has a record. What it does is it will start looping into each column. So we are using a for loop to iterate through the column. So in each and every column, I am putting this field key data like the field name, the column name, and the column value as a map pair. So I'm using a map hash map here, data map dot put. I'm using the field key column header as a key and the column value as a field value. This is our key value pair. And finally, this is what it will return for that particular test case. So let's say where condition or where clause here. So we can use it two ways. The one way which we have did in our coding as part of coding, we did connection dot execute query dot where condition. The other way is get the record set first and then you can use this where clause to the record set dot where condition where column name equal to test name. You can use the variable as well here. For update query, the only change will be the query part. You can take the other query string here. So you can see the below screenshot how I used a string query where the query string will be update whatever sheet name you want to use the sheet name set. If you want to use a new column, you can use a new column, or it's just a change in the existing field as similar to our update query. So you can see that set column name as well as if you can use the where condition into the update query as well. The only thing which we cannot do in our select queries is we cannot select query particular to one column. So we have to use select star from, or we can, but we can use the distinct one as well in select query. So that's all viewers. So if you would like to know anything more on the FIllo part, please mention in our comments. So we'll discuss on this as together.